Hello everyone, patching into today's first video, doing the 5th Summer 2020 Analogs update for today's first video. So, of course, we've done 4 Analogs updates so far for the summer of 2020, as well as one season model roundup. We are nearing the halfway point now on the summer updates. We're going to be releasing the GavsWeathers.com summer 2020 forecast on the 31st of May, the last day of the month. So, yes, we are really moving on now with the updates, and we're not quite at the halfway stage, but certainly we will be next week. So, I'll get on with the 5th Summer 2020 update for you very shortly, just to say that coming up later on, we're going to have Gaz of his Sunday Roundup. As always on a Sunday, you're going to have your eclectic mix of this and that. And then later on this afternoon, we're going to be closing the competition. That competition, we're teaming up with metcheck.co.uk, weather instrumentation, to give away the climate rain gauge. That competition will be closed at 5 PM this afternoon. Won't be able to take any more entries after 5 PM. And then we're going to reveal the winner in a video at 7 PM. We'll be revealing the winner of the competition at 7 PM on the competitions page at Gaz Weathers. Tomorrow we've got episode 2 of the Frozen 40s trilogy, looking at winter of 2000. Not 2000, I'm talking about looking at the winter of 1940-1941. That'll be tomorrow's historic weather video. Right then, so just to say a big thank you to our good friend Richard Shaw for supplying us with the summer updates gift. Thank you, Richard, for doing that. It's going to be quite a long video, of course, this, so you can't watch it all in one go. I mean, don't worry, it will be kept at the website and on the YouTube channel indefinitely, so if you have to watch the video on demand. And there will also be a written summary that goes with the video, and I'll get that up for you later on. We'll be a little bit later than normal, I think, because we've got the competition to sort out. But certainly by the end of this evening, I'll get that up for you on the summer updates page at GavsWeathers.com. So you'll be able to have a read of that and watch the video on demand. Right, I think that's everything I'm going to tell you then. So today we're going to be looking at England and Wales precipitation for March. Of course, we did the March CT last week. This week we're doing England and Wales precipitation. So the England and Wales precipitation index goes all the way back to 1766. Every month's worth of precipitation back to 1766. If we scroll down through the years, up UK Met Office, this of course, scroll down through years, we see that we've got 2020 just there. So, of course, we have that exceptionally wet February, 169.6 millimetres in February 2020, but much drier in March. Look at that, 58.4 millimetres was the England-Wales precipitation for March 2020, a much drier month compared to the months that have just gone, of course. So for our summer analogues, we're looking at summers following Marches with an England-Wales precipitation of 55 to 65 millimetres, placing March 2020 just about in the middle of that range, so nice and straightforward. So the first summer following March England-Wales precipitation of 55 to 65 millimetres is the summer of 1838, and this one is cool and unsettled. Actually, it has northern blocking. High pressure is sitting to our north. It has low pressure to our east. Whoops, let's get rid of all that and try again. So it has low pressure there as a trough to our north and northeast. High pressure is to the north. Jet stream and the flow, you're going to be doing something like that. Quite a cold and unsettled signal for the first summer within this batch of analogues. The next summer's not much better. This is the summer of 1841. This one, again, with the below average heights over and to the east of the country. Quite strong blocking up to the north. Quite a lot of high pressure up to the north. Jet stream, again, is pushed southwards, doing something a little bit like that. So that's another cold and wet. Another cold and wet summer in 1841. Next up, we've got 1846. So this one, again, has the above average heights extending in from the north into the UK and Western Europe. So this is a more anticyclonic summer. Low pressure is out to the northwest. Jet stream doing something a bit like that. That's a warmer summer in 1846, a warmer and drier summer as well. Of course, that does include a very hot June. Then we've got 1855, and this one has blocking up to the north, quite a bit of high pressure up to the north. There's not all that much low pressure underneath it, but we do have a little bit of a trough there across western parts of Europe. So it looks like it's sort of an unsettled-ish type summer, and probably a little bit on the cool side as well, if anything. Then moving on to the summer of 1866, so quite a few, quite a few summers from the 19th century. This one, again, with the below average heights across much of western and northwestern Europe, again blocking up to the north, high pressure up to the north, low pressure over to the south country. Jet stream is again push southwards, doing something a little bit like that. Rather cool and unsettled summer in 1866. These analogues don't look very inspiring yet, do they? Our next summer, following a March, England-Wales precipitation range of 55-65 millimetres, is the summer of 1870. This one, again, has the above average heights out to the west and to the north country, below average heights a little bit more to the east and to the south. So it's more of an anticyclonic summer. Winds are in from like a north to northeasterly direction. Probably quite a coolish summer, but that will probably be a drier summer. So a rather cool and dry summer for 1870. 1890 is our next summer, so quite a long gap from 1870 to 1890. This one looks very unsettled. Deep trough of low pressure covering not just the UK, but through many parts of Europe as well. So obviously the jet stream is pushed southwards too. That's a very cool and very unsettled summer in 1890. I go through to the following summer, 1891. Next, we're following a March England-Wales precipitation range of 55-65 millimetres. This one looks unsettled. Below average heights in off the Atlantic and into northern Europe as well. High pressure is up towards Greenland. Jet stream is shoved southwards too. So again, that's an active summer. It's cool. It's unsettled. There's regular bouts of rain coming in from off the Atlantic in 1891. I don't think we've seen a decent summer yet, have we? So here we go. We're up to 1894 now. And this one doesn't look very good. It's got northern blocking sitting up to the north. It's got low pressure to the south. Again, the jet stream is pushed southwards. So that's another summer that is cool and unsettled following that March England-Wales precipitation range of 55 to 65 millimetres. This one's a little bit better. This is the summer of 1906. So, I mean, it's not a particularly good summer, let's be honest, but it does have above average heights extending from the UK up to the Arctic. So there's low pressure out here. Jet stream's probably doing something a little bit like that. So it's a relatively dryish and a sort of high pressure type summer. I mean, it's not particularly good in its own terms, but it does have a very tremendous late heat wave at the end of August and into the beginning of September. That's not a bad summer in 1906, and this is a much better summer. This is our first proper hot summer. This is 1911 with above average heights covering the UK and extending out into the northern Atlantic as well. Below average heights away to the southwest. Winds are coming in from a southerly to southeast direction. That's a hot summer. Very hot in July 1911. July 1911 was a very, very hot month indeed. This one's not too bad either. This is 1921. With this one, the high pressure is a little bit more centred out to our west, with the below average heights tending to be sort of further northwards. Jet stream, again, doing something a bit like that. It's a drier summer in 1921, but it's not particularly warm. It's not a particularly exciting summer. 1932 next has above average heights out to our west, below average heights are down to our south. Again, that's not a bad summer, and I think there's some pretty hot weather contained within the summer of 1932, so relatively dry and quite warm. There are several really good summers in the early part of the 1930s, and 1932 is one of those. 1936, not so much. This one, again, with the below average heights much closer to the UK. So low pressure covering UK and much of Western Europe, high pressure pulled out into the Atlantic. That's a cooler and more unsettled summer in 1936. That's a very wet July in 1936. 1939, the summer preceding the start of the Second World War. Again, quite similar to 1936 in some way, with the above average heights again to our north, but below average heights tend to be over to the south of the country. So this one again, it's another fairly coolish and quite unsettled summer in 1939, with low pressure tending to be covering much of Western Europe. A very long gap then from 1939 all the way to 1967. So the next time after 1939 that we have England and Wales precipitation in March of 65 millimetres was in 1967. This is how the summer of 1967 looks, the summer of love. And it has above average heights across western and central parts of Europe, with below average heights up to the north. It's quite a warmish sort of summer. I mean, most of the summers of the 1960s were terrible. This is actually a slightly better one. It's nothing particularly exciting, but compared to some of the summers that are going on in the 1960s, that is actually one of the better ones. There is a fair amount of dryish and quite warmish weather at times through 1967, although overall the summer is quite mixed. 1968 next. Again, we have the above average heights to our north and northeast. Below average heights tend to be to our south. This is quite a sort of thundery-ish type summer in 1968, and quite easterly as well, but regularly unsettled. And there are some quite appreciable thunderstorms as well in the summer of 1968. 1970 shown up next, so we have quite a significant run from 1967 to 1970 so far. This one is a hotter summer with above average heights again to our northeast and out to the west. This has a very hot June, a very warm June in 1970, and then it starts to go a little bit awry as we go further on into the summer, but certainly early on, a lot of very warm weather in June of 1970. Now, this is a really good summer from 1973 to 1983. This is our next hot summer. This one with the above average height centred pretty much over top of the country. Low pressure is up to the north. We bring in these hot east southeasterly winds. Very hot July in 1983. For a long time, July 1983 was our hottest month, hottest July and hottest month on record until 2006. And just a very, very hot and at times quite thundery summer in 1983. That's a real classic showing up. 1984 as well is not a bad summer at all. So as we come into more recent summers, the nearer summers, definitely they are getting a bit better now from a warm, dry perspective. The summer of 1984 is quite overshadowed by 1983, and understandably so, because the summer of 1983 was so very hot, especially in July. But 1984, the summer wasn't too bad at all. Again, a lot of dry, warm weather through much of this summer, and high pressure is centred very close to the country throughout. So two really good summers there, 1983 and 1984, if you want dry and warm to hot weather. Another long gap then to 2005. So March 2005 has that England and Wales precipitation of 55 to 65 millimetres. The summer of 2005 looks like this, with above average heights very close to the country. Below average heights tend to be more to the north. It's an in-between sort of summer, really, 2005. Rather a forgotten summer. It has regular hot spells and regular thundery outbreaks, but also protracted periods of cool and unsettled weather. So it's one of those summers that's neither one thing nor another. It's neither a particularly good summer, but nor is it a particularly bad summer. And it is a bit of a forgotten summer, but if you like thunderstorms, there were regular thunderstorms through the summer of 2005. And then unfortunately, here we go again, we've got 2007 showing up, and we know that 2007 has been turning up a lot in both the summer updates and also before that in the spring updates. In fact, for our spring forecast, 2007 was the leading analog year, and I have to say, this spring so far is panning out rather similar to 2007. So, just a reminder of what the summer of 2007 was like. It has the above average heights across much of the northern latitudes through Greenland and back into the Arctic, blocking their below average heights pretty much parked over the UK and Western Europe. Jet stream is down here somewhere. It's a cold and wet summer, particularly bad in June and July, particularly wet in June and July, and July 2007 is also a very cool month as well. June is quite a warm month, but again, June 2007 is very wet. Just didn't stop raining really from May through to July. August is a bit better, August is a bit drier, and not as wet, but overall that is a terrible summer in 2007, and let's just hope we're not going to see a repeat for 2020. And then lastly, we've got 2014. The last time we had a March England Wales precipitation range of 55-65 millimetres was in 2014. The summer of 2014 looks like this, with blocking to the north and low pressure to the south. This summer starts off pretty good. It starts off dry and warm, but it deteriorates a lot. It has a very warm July with CET in the 17s, but August is total opposite. August 2014 is very bad, and is the coldest August since 1993. Also quite a wettish month as well. So, putting all of that together, this is how all Junes combined are coming out following an England-Wales precipitation range of 55 to 65 millimetres. And to be honest, for June, it's not a bad signal, actually. It tends to have above average heights very close to the UK. So, we start the summer following these marches not on a bad note at all. A lot of dry and quite warm weather is expected there. All change for July. Look at this, July. All Julys combined following an England-Wales March precipitation range of 55-65 millimetres increases the heights to the north and lowers the heights over and to the south and to the east of the country. We're pulling cool northeasterly winds and turn things very much more unsettled as well. So quite a cool, wet July expected after a warm and dry June. And all August combines, not much better really. Again, we have the above average heights out to the northwest, not as strong with the blocking signal perhaps, but the above average heights are still out to the northwest. Below average heights to our south and southeast. Winds are still coming in from the east-northeast direction. Overall, those Augusts still look cool and unsettled following that March England-Wales precipitation range. And then we see how all summers combined are looking. And again, we see the below average heights are to our south and southeast. The above average heights are to our north and northwest. It's a cool and unsettled signal overall. But bear in mind, June isn't bad. June gets the summer off on average to a dry and a warm start. But then it all sort of goes a little bit down the band as we get into July and August. If we narrow things down just a little bit more and take out all of the years before 1950, this is how things shape up. So this is all June. This is all Junes combined post 1950, following a March England and Wales precipitation, put your teeth in gap, precipitation range of 55 to 65 millimetres. And if anything, it's even better for June. It strengthens the above average heights and places it more or less over the top of the country. So doesn't get much more anticyclonic than that. A dry and potentially warm or even quite hot June is expected. Do we get the deterioration in July? Let's have a look. This is all Julys combined, post 1950. So we see that we take the above average heights away to our west, and try to get it up towards Greenland as well. Below average heights are sort of to the south, just there, and also to the east. So it's an in-between type pattern that you could just about hang on to dry weather, but you expect things to turn cooler. And with low pressure threatening both to the southwest and to the northeast, I mean, we could easily find ourselves placed in an unsettled scenario. And what's going on here is that we've got Julys as diverse as 2007, which of course is an atrocious July, and 1983, which is an exceptionally warm July, exceptionally hot July, often very thundery though. So it's some of those charts that it's like 50-50. It could be okay, or it could actually all go horribly wrong. August combines post 1950. Looks like that. Generally, we are strengthening the anticyclonic signal, I think, with these summers post-1950 following this March, England, Wales precipitation range. With below average heights now is more to the south. Winds are kind of coming in from the east. You would expect that to be a relatively warm and dry signal for August, really. Not too bad at all. And lastly, all summers combined, post-1950, following a March, England, Wales precipitation range of 55-65 millimetres. It does look better, looks a lot better compared to the all years combined, with the above average heights tending to be almost over the top of the country. Bear in mind, there's a bit of a question mark about July, but certainly June is very anticyclonic, and August is quite anticyclonic as well. The low pressure tends to be further to our south. We tend to bring in easterly winds, which would be very warm and at times hot in the summer. So it's mixed, it's a mixed bag. If we look at all years combined, obviously we see that it was a relatively poor summer signal. Although we start off okay in June, there's a very pronounced deterioration through July and August, and the overall summer analogue is very bad, with all years combined going right way back into the 1800s and up to 2014. If we take all of those years out from before 1950 and just focus on the years from 1950 to 2014, then we see a rather different scenario. Again, very anticyclonic for June. So on either set of analogues, June is shaping up to be okay, quite warm and dry if that's what you want. But July and August show, with the post-1950 years, a much more anticyclonic signal, albeit July is a little bit in between, it could go either way. But overall, I think definitely we say that after 1950, the analogues do get better, much better actually, for a warmer and drier summer. So quite unusual to see the analogue split like that between post between post 1950 and the full package. So it's quite unusual to see such a pronounced split within the analogues. But there we go. That's what the evidence is showing. Right then, so that's it for March precipitation data. We may have a little bit more on March next week, but we'll probably move on to something else in next week's 6th Summer 2020 update. As I say, all of these updates are building up a picture forensically week by week until we arrive at the GASWEB Summer 2020 forecast, which is going to be released on Sunday the 31st of May. So we're getting ever closer, week by week, getting ever and incrementally closer to the release of the GASWEB Summer 2020 forecast. And we shall see where things go over the next few weeks. Right, that later on with GASWEB's Sunny Roundup. We shall also be giving away the prize, of course, this evening. You're going to find out who has won the climate rain gauge in association with GASWEB's and metcheck.co.uk weather instrumentation. This video will be placed on the Summer 2020 updates page, and there'll be a written summary that goes with it as well. It'll be later on this evening, but I will get it up for you before the end of today, so you'll be able to have a watch of the video on demand, have a read of written summary whenever you would like to do that on the Summer Updates page. Tomorrow, we're going to have episode 2 of Frozen 40s trilogy, looking at winter of 1940 and 1941. It runs to just under an hour. It's a true epic. I've already recorded it, and I'm very pleased with how it's come out, so you'll be able to see that tomorrow. Right, guys, we'll have this sunny roundup up next. Enjoy the rest of your Easter Sunday. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.